Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Postmaster General DeJoy, you testified that 98% of the nation's population is receiving their mail and packages in 3 days or less. What percentage of mail is delivered on time in rural areas in America?
I would say our overall standard of first-class mail is to the service standard is about 93% right now. Marketing mail is 95%.
Okay, those are pretty high numbers. So I asked that because I've heard from my constituents over the past few years in rural America who are receiving terrible service from the Postal Service. I know a lot of issues have been brought up today, and we're working to get solutions with you. So thank you so much for being here and providing answers so we can try to work through this. But you know, the struggles that we're seeing are veterans and seniors not receiving important prescriptions in a timely manner. Postal positions have been unfilled for long periods of time. Local post offices have been closed or had extremely limited hours. Packages have been seen piling up in lobbies. Some people did not receive a single piece of mail for 3 weeks in my district. Wait times exceed an hour in some places. And to make matters worse, extremely poor customer service is something that I'm hearing a lot of. Colorado City, it's south of Pueblo, went without its contract post office for approximately 6 weeks after the contractor who ran it quit because the Postal Service was not honoring his contracts. People in my district literally had to drive 30 minutes to Pueblo to get their mail, and I think you would agree that these things are unacceptable. Now, Postmaster General DeJoy, an estimated 15,000 rural pharmacies were forced out of the Department of Defense Health Agency's Cigna Express Scripts reimbursement plan, and this has caused rural veterans across Colorado's 3rd District to rely solely on the Postal Service to receive their prescriptions. This has caused veterans to go without these prescriptions, most of which are necessary for the quality of their life, for upwards of weeks, and due to the delay in this delivery. Now, this is not only happening in our rural areas such as Cortez, Los Animas, Del Norte, Meeker, Rangeley, and just about all of these mountain communities, but it is even happening in major populated areas such as Grand Junction, Colorado, and in Pueblo, as mentioned. What steps are you taking to ensure that Postal Service no longer leaves our veterans going weeks without important quality of life prescriptions?
So specifically in Colorado, when I was made aware of the issue and I met with your two senators, we put, and we're doing this in all the areas, making, as I said
I'm sorry, when did you meet with the senators? If that's something you could recall.
A month ago.
Okay.
2 months ago.
Okay.
But it really was from the January and beginning of February activity that was out there. I put a SWAT team out into the area, and we put 12 or 13, moved 12 or 13 carriers up. We reestablished contracts, highway contracts in the area. We put additional management in I think 8 or 9 different locations around the mountain area, and we got the service flowing back on time. And as I said earlier, there's a lot of damage that was done, and then coming through the pandemic, these remote retail areas are the ones that are the longest for us to get back and the toughest for us to get back into, stable operating condition. And we're working on it. I think most of those areas in Colorado are significantly better than they were before. I watch the days to deliver missed mail to delivery points and so forth. So I think, have you had any recent?
Yes, so we have had ongoing issues that have been brought to our attention, and specifically there was a period in time in October of 2021 when I reached out to you personally, and I was denied a meeting that we couldn't get this.
Reach out to me?
Yes, I did. And this was just about the unacceptable service that we were seeing in Levita at a post office in my district, and a government Relations representative from Washington, D.C. responded and said a lie, stating that staffing issues were not impacting operating hours, and they absolutely were. So I am glad that you reached out to the senators and spoke for them. I'm grateful to hear what you are expressing to this committee about the commitments that you are making to address these issues, and I hope to work with you personally in the future and with your staff as well, because this is something that's very important to all Americans. So thank you so much for your time, and I yield back.
Thank you.
Gentlewoman yields back her time. The gentlewoman from California, Ms. Barrington, is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Postmaster General, you're a popular guy. I asked for a call from you as well and was denied that request. But let me say thank you for being here and for answering questions. And I want to thank you for, in your testimony, mentioning the men and women of the Postal Service. And you say we owe them our best efforts and a solid plan to address the problems of the past and to chart a course. Your testimony also attaches a second-year report, Delivering for America, and on page 11 of that it says, and I'm quoting, "The well-being of our 635,000 employees is at the heart of Delivering for America. We are investing in both our employees and the facilities they work in." I can't agree more. I'm a huge fan of the post office and the men and the women who provide service and who go in and day out to deliver mail. Mr. DeJoy, do you ever visit post offices? Yes or no?
Frequently.
Frequently. Have you ever visited any of the USPS International Service Centers?
I have.
Have you by any chance ever visited one in Carson, California?
No, but I'm aware of it. Actually, I did visit Carson before it was an international center. And
okay. Do you believe that employees should have to work in a facility that is below 30 degrees?
Nope.
And do you believe that employees should have to work in a facility that is close to 100 degrees?
Nope.
I have to agree with you. I don't think these are suitable working conditions. And OSHA, even though they don't have a specific number, they have a temperature range, and it is far well away from those. Let me tell you about working conditions in that facility. It happens to be in my congressional district. I wrote you a letter about this, which I asked for a phone call about. I will say your staff, somebody did respond back. Now, these are working conditions that employees of the U.S. Postal Service International Service Center in Carson, California have been faced with. From December of 2022 through March of 2023, the employees were working in this facility that registered temperatures as low as 28 degrees when it was cold, and the building there was intended to be a warehouse, not really a processing center. It does not have any kind of HVAC system, or the electrical capacity there is not sufficient to run enough heaters to regulate the temperatures in the building. I myself went to visit it and joined the workers, the men and the women who were out protesting against these unacceptable, unsuitable conditions. And so now that you've been made aware of this, what are you committed to try to do to fix this?
So, Congresswoman, we have plenty of facilities like that around the country that have conditions that need to be addressed, and we're out addressing them.
Are you saying you have a lot of facilities where workers are working in unsafe
There are different types of conditions. There are different types of conditions that don't make workplace activities, produce the result we both want in terms of productivity and the employee experience. And that's a big part of what the Delivering for America plan is about. And we, in that particular facility, it was part of a process where we leased it for a short term. We're getting out of the building. We're going to close that building down and consolidate it into our Los Angeles facility. But we have what we have. And when conditions happen and we have people working there and mail flowing, we're not always able to respond to these types of conditions the way we would like to.
Well,
that is
Mr.
the
Joy,
aggregation, that's the accumulation of 15 years worth of neglect that I can't fix
Mr.
in 2
DeJoy,
years.
first of all, it's not really 15 years of neglect.
It
And
is.
I'll tell you why. Because this was a 5-year lease, so it hasn't been 15 years. And when they entered the lease, they should have said, hey, there needs to be safe working conditions here. And you basically have just said, hey, there's unsafe working conditions, and that is what it is. That should not be the response of our country to the men and the women who need to deliver and who do deliver for America. The response really should be, and I was hoping your response is going to be, I'm going to see how quickly we can get the workers out of these unsafe conditions, because nobody should be working in degrees that's 30 degrees.
That's in fact what I've been doing. That's a very unfair accusation.
You know, you just said it. It is what it is.
I was explaining the status of the condition of the organization when I arrived here and what we've been trying to do over the last 2 years. And we recognize we have facility issues, and we recognize that is a facility issue, and we're going to be moving it. But it is a big place with a lot of people and no money, right? And we're trying to fix it.
Well, I hope that you will look at it more closely to get a quicker resolution. Thank you. With that, I yield back.